if there was ever a time I'm gonna fail at a video, it's this. This is the Ballistic Sailplane by my name Wreckage Rider. This, see, I can build a plane, I just can't build a script. Well, I can build a script, I just can't read the script. I don't have any aircraft instructions because, seriously, I watched some other things, and this looks like the cross between SR-71 Blackbird and Pod Racer from Star Wars Episode 1. So anyway, this is a multi-stage plane with basically the bottom part is the whole lot of the bottom is the launcher and the top part is the sailplane. This sailplane is designed to, it can travel ridiculously big distances in a short amount of time. But the idea for this flight that is to go up really high. I want to watch us go up so high that when we do separate, I've got these separators at 5% detachment. This will enable us to have a very small push nudge away, just like when you see a rocket separate. We will only just see it just push us away. This looks like it could be thrown together, really, but a lot of the design was actually done for a lot of the headache with this design was all the weight and balance. This is actually the first time I've tested this in virtual reality as well. So I'm just looking at my super awesome air brake. That humongous. There's a little air brake back there because I like to be able to moderate how I go down. These gigantic jet engines at the bottom are purely for power to weight ratio. The fuselage at the bottom, that is just a fuel tank. That's all that is. But that's not a lot of fuel when it comes to how much. And these are not even full. This is actually, I think it was about 20%. So we're going to use up all of our fuel very, very quickly. Or I'm not sure if we are. We've got extra air inlets to add to it because the magic of the game will somehow miracle air between that air inlet and that jet engine because magic, as well as the way. But as we come to gliding, we got a VTOL which actually handles a lot more through coming. One thing the game actually does get kind of okay is how thick the atmosphere gradually gets thicker. And as you've seen on some other videos of my channel, I fly with all the rocket games and things, and Juno New Origins. I also played Orbiter 2006 as a game when I was growing up, and I feel that this game gets it kind of okay. It's not perfect. I also found out that transitioning between atmospheric layers is always different. So we got my normal office. We've got a few small things. This is our trim. We're going to be mainly using this. We're going to be using this part here a lot, especially up at the higher altitude. We won't know where we are because we won't even see the ground. This here, this little thing, come on developers, if you ever see this, make it so I could push this because I'd be sitting there all day. This here will just go floppy. because we'll be traveling a pretty fast speed, but there'll be no air to coming through to. So we're, as the name goes, we're gonna be going ballistic. I'm not talking about my dog when it sees a possum. I'm talking about as a ballistic trajectory. Normal. This is actually coherent this time. We got a tiny little rudder. That's not going to do very much. So I'm going to take off now, and I'm going to mainly use a trim. That was... Oh, I really thought I'd put that... Alright, we'll get rid of them. That's perfectly fine. Might not even need to use the trim. Well... try to get the dot in the middle of the... It's our speed that I'm mainly worried about. I'm trying to make the smallest movements ever. We're already down to nearly half. We generally get our altitude up pretty fast. Already can't see the ground. Oh yeah, the trick is to land back on the runway. Our controls, I'm just giving it a little bit of a touch here and there. I don't want to put in very many control inputs, especially towards the end. Our controls are getting very, very... our controls are getting very, very, very... as you can see, our controls are pretty much not working. Alright. Let's see something. That's just to prove where our atmosphere, how much atmosphere we have. Let that keep going. We could kind of gauge at how much we got to do. These have parachutes, completely redundant. We're never seeing those engines again. We're obviously going down. We've hit the top of our ballistic trajectory. And I'm just checking. For some reason. Okay. I'm going to put our trim all the way back. Every time we do a trim, it also does it with the launcher. So our speed is fast, and this is floppy, but barely. I kind of waited that to be just off. Wait, you see, you can get a real sense of how fast we're actually going. We're gonna put our trim directly in the middle. See, you get a real sense of how fast we're actually going when we come through. can see the ground now. Wouldn't be my video if I didn't do this. I don't know which island we're at. In testing, I went up sometimes I have adjusted different. I had adjusted different whether I'd go up or up at certain angles or not. And I like 60 degrees. I just could not. I think I found the snow island. But here, where are we? If I went completely, there's a chance we might be able to find every single. There's a chance we might actually see both islands at the same time. But we are also a glider, so I would like to land on a runway. I don't know if that's crack or blow. I somehow don't think it is. But you go up somewhere and it's like you've teleported somewhere else. It doesn't matter because we can. I use the path of least resistance. I really wish this game had an environment. Yeah, we're back down towards right aisles. I really wish this. I really wish this game had environment sounds. And there's a reason this thing's named Mark 1. Because it's got little bugs. This is a better than nothing version of this plane. So, judging by what... We're still above 40,000 feet. In testing, right before I uploaded this, I don't have a lot of time to do a video. So, right before I uploaded this, I noticed that the gauge is wrong. So I'm just take my word for it. I've done some maths to math it down in my head, and we're actually about 55,000 feet up. We're still going at a reasonable click, but this is as hollow as it gets. It can land on water, but I felt that it would be a better option for me to make the video and avoid landing on water, because really landing on water is a total cop-out. As far as being a glider goes, it is not the best glider. It is not a sailplane. It's not, well, unless we're talking about ionic breeze, we're not actually going up on thermals anyway, but turns out this game does not have that. So we have used the world's craziest tow plane on the planet, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how it doesn't matter how many clouds are out. Oh, look, the clouds are still above our heads. Doesn't matter how many clouds are out or anything like that. We will not need them. We don't need thermals, we don't need ridge lift, though that would be fun. If I were to choose between thermals and ridge lift, I would choose ridge flying, which basically what that means is air goes up onto a mountain, and the air goes up, and you're screaming along here, and you go up as a result of the air going up, and you just fly on ridge lift. Once I did, and then around here there's rotation air, and then you've got air going up again, and then you've got me at 7,000 feet wondering how I'm still up in the sky, and that happened to me in real life. I was like, I look out, the guys are like, I see the ground's all the way down there. There is like, I don't understand. We're still going up. It's like the vertical, it was like kind of there in real life, and like it's still going up. And anyway, turns out that if I'd gone in the grand scheme of things, like from here to the other side of this island, in the grand scheme of things in real life, that far away, I would have been in rotation air, which is as bad as it sounds. But this plane not being a glider kind of makes for a good talking. Not being a good, not the worst glider, like it's made to actually glide, but it's not the worst. It's not the worst glider. And I am. That is actually our actual airspeed. We're slow because of how light it is. My general office type is basically literally my office with wings attached to it. There is nothing else. Wings and a little bit of an air brake. There is nothing else to it. I originally had actually built this as a mini. Here's how weird this was to start building. I wanted to build something that was the smallest possible that could get my office into the air. And turns out my mind wanders, and I did build something that could glide reasonably well. It's not as small as possible. I could totally get something smaller than this up into the air. It would just not go for very long. So I thought, oh, well, let's see if I can make somewhat of a glider that would work just with this. And as far as a sailplane goes, I know there are little bits I could tweak. For example, it could probably be longer. Yes, it can be more aerodynamic. The airflow through, when I tested the drag, the chair and all that, does not actually hit the airflow, because this is actually goes around that. The V-tail is actually more for re-entry than anything. When you have a V-tail, it generally is more stable when you're transitioning through the atmosphere, coming back. I've found that you can orientate yourself a little bit better. Also, and we still have a rudder. It still works as a rudder, but it's just. But the thing about that aspect is you can only use the rudder, and it has a secondary effect. And this is where I get to say about my education bit. If I can use this rudder, and I'll have a secondary effect of roll a lot more pronounced in a V-tail. Anyway, we might start getting some air brakes out. These controls are very, very, they're so touch, you get used to it. everything. You get used to being so touchy at the high end of the flight, and then it gets not touchy at all, or not even effective at all, and then you get um, then it gets back to not being touchy as you get into the low parts of the atmosphere. That's actually a lever, just like these, by the way. And I am not messing up this video so close to landing, though going to I'm going to come in a little bit fast. Oh yeah, another educational bit. That there is where we're crashing. That there is our landing. Crashing, landing, crashing, landing. I'm aiming for our crashing zone, but I'm going to do some pre-flare stuff. Wheels are now out. Wheels down. And we will touch down quite smoothly. And there, the plane is not getting away from us. We can land just like a glider. I didn't even use the air brakes to land. The wheels provide enough drag that I just used that at the end. The air brakes plus the wheels can be used in a full-blown emergency, but the wheels are just perfect air brakes. Well, I'm glad I made it back to a runway. That that was the first time that took more training than I care to admit. I've failed in probably about 10 flights leading up to this. That was all on the PC, and then I do the actual test flight with the record going, so I can still have a failure, but it's like I'm using the PC as the simulator to do my real flight here, and that was a success. So I'm glad you all came with me for the ride, and like, subscribe, join our Discord. Nobody seems to be interested in Discord, but I'm going to keep plugging that until the cows come home. I don't give up on things very easily. And I appreciate you all watching. Have a good one.